So you don't necessarily have a vision for your life, but you still want to set some goals? This is the video for you. What's up? Welcome back to the channel. My name's theTILAGO. If you're new around here, welcome. I talk about all things faith, the faith journey, and living in and on purpose here on the channel. So if you need a little bit more of that in your life, then you already know what to do. Hit the subscribe button right now. We are in the middle of a series here on the channel called the Mid-Year Reset, where we're taking some time to just recenter and refocus our lives so that we can live the rest of 2024 in a better way than we lived maybe the first half of 2024, whether you lived it in a great way or not. And so this is kind of part 2 of how to set goals. In the first part, the video right before this, I talk all about my favorite way to set goals. That method is called the vision focused goal setting method. And today we're going to talk about the second method, which is the improvement focused goal setting method, which is also a really cool one and one that I use often. The vision focused goal setting method is more for those people who are really purpose driven. You always kind of have a vision for where you're headed and you have direction of where you're going. And you were like, I just want to set goals that match that. But today's method, the improvement focused method, is more so for those people who maybe have a hard time getting clear on their vision or getting clear on where they're headed in their lives, but you still know that you want to improve. You just want to get better daily. This is going to be the method that is going to be best for you. So keep on watching to learn more about it. Okay, so getting right to it. How does it work? The first step in improvement focused goal setting is you want to break your life down into categories, into sections, so that you can kind of take like slices of your life and really look at them and examine and assess and evaluate them. And so for me personally, you can use any other categories that you want, but the categories that I use are spiritual, relational, personal, financial, professional, and physical. Breaking my life down into these 6 categories really helps me to take a look at my life in a more granular way. And it helps me to really kind of see how I'm doing in each of those areas, because that is step 2. After you've broken your life down into whatever categories you want to take a look at each category individually and ask yourself, like really rate yourself. How am I doing in each of these categories? How do I feel like my life is looking in each of these categories? So I'm going to say from 1 to 5, 1 being, I'm doing pretty poorly, I really need to get better here. And a 5 being, hey, I'm doing pretty well, I'm thriving, I'm feeling good about this area of my life, right? But something that I always say is to make sure you are rating yourself honestly. Be honest with yourself, because the only way to get to where you are trying to get better, is to be honest about where you are today. And so you want to take some time to take each slice of your life and rate it 1 to 5, or you can use whatever numbers you want to, 1 to 3, it don't matter. Okay. You just want to make sure you have a rating scale for yourself so that you can say how you are doing in that area of your life today, right now. And then step 3 here is going to be taking a look at each of those areas and saying, okay, which ones did I rate myself the lowest? Which ones am I really not doing as well as I really want to be doing in? And those are the ones that I'm going to prioritize when I begin to goal set. Now, step 4 here is before you actually start to get into the goal setting part of things, you want to take some time to reflect. If you have not heard this from me yet, you're going to hear it often. I love to journal. I love to take time to reflect. I think that it really does help you to process things down, because we want to be making decisions after we have processed through, situations in our lives, rather than just making decisions on a whim without the processing, right? And so you want to take some time to reflect, to look back over those areas of your life that you feel like you're not doing so great in. And you can use this with the areas you feel like you're doing great in too. But the questions you want to kind of ask yourself are, what's causing me to not do as well or be as well in this area as I want to be? What are the things that are hindering me? What are the things that have stopped me from rating this area a 5? If I'm looking at my life, what's happening, right? And you really want to get clear on those things. And again, be honest with yourself. And in this, you can talk about external factors, you can talk about internal factors, you can talk about anything you want to, but you want to get as detailed as you can in determining what is causing you to rate this thing or this area a 1, 2, or 3. And then once you've taken some time to do that, now we can actually get into the goal setting. Now, where this is differing from the vision focused goal setting method is you kind of have already set a vision for yourself in that method. So you already kind of have like a point A and a point B. Point A being where you are today, point B being where you want to get to, or the vision you're trying to get to, the person who's living out the purpose that you believe you're called to with that vision. But in improvement focused goal setting, since you don't necessarily have or need a vision, you are more so just saying, my vision for me, my goal, my big overall goal is to just get 1% better. And so that means I just want these numbers. If I've rated these areas of my life low, I just want to be able to move the needle so that the next time I evaluate my life in these areas, I can move that needle and say, instead of a 1, now I'm rating myself a 2 or a 3 or something higher, right? And so you are mainly going to choose the areas that you feel like you're not doing as well in to set goals in that will help you to get better. So as you begin to set goals, you're going to ask yourself, okay, as I reflected, what are the things that I said were hindering me? What did I say were the external factors or internal factors that are keeping me from being able to rate this higher than I am right now? And then you want to set goals that go completely against those things, the things that are hindering you. So let's say it's finances, for example. Let's say I rate my finances a 1, and I'm saying that I'm rating my finances, if I look back over them, I'm rating them a 1 because I haven't been able to save, or because I've been spending too much, or because I'm not making enough. Okay, the way to improve those things would be, if I'm not saving enough, then my goal is going to be to save X amount of dollars. Or if I'm spending too much, my goal is going to be to stop spending that much, or not to spend XYZ amount of money. Or if I'm not making enough, then my goal needs to be to figure out a way to make more. So it's a very it sounds very simple, and it is. It's a very simple way to set goals. Now, we're definitely going to have to break these down into action steps, but you want to get really clear on setting goals that go completely against what's hindering you, because you're trying to combat habits. You're trying to combat an identity that you have had, and you're trying to step into a new one, right? You're trying to become a different person, because the new person is the one who's going to accomplish these goals and who is going to have these better notches whenever they rate these areas of their lives, right? So you don't want to set goals that are going to just help you to keep being the same person, right? And keep having the same habits. No, we want to change them. So you're going to take some time to, again, just look at those things that are hindering you, that are stopping you, that are causing you to rate this low. And then you're going to set goals that go against those things. And then you're going to take some time to take a step back and look at all the goals that you have set, all the things that you have said you need to do in order to be able to rate those areas of your lives in a different way. You're going to look at all the goals you set that are going to help you to move the needle, to move the notch, and rate yourself higher in those areas the next time that you do this evaluation. And then you're going to make sure, this is something I do in both methods, you're going to make sure that you have not set too many goals. And so the way to do that is, if you set more than honestly more than 5 or 6 big goals, is too many for me. Okay. And so when you look at how many you have, you're going to ask yourself, okay, when do all of these actually need to be done? Can I move some of these into next year or next quarter or next month? Which ones are priority? Which ones are urgent for me to be able to move this needle? And which ones can I kind of wait on and do a little bit later? And that's just going to help so that you are not focused on 25 things at a time. You want to help yourself with your focus, right? Your brain is very complex and can do a lot, but you want to help it to not have to do a ton of different things at once. Remember, we are refocusing. We are trying to center everything here as we move into the rest of 2024. So now that you've narrowed down the ones that are more urgent and you've written down the ones that you're going to leave for later, it's time to make your goals SMART. I know y'all have heard of what SMART goals is. SMART stands for specific, measurable, attainable, relatable, and time bound. And so I said in the last one, and this is something I stick to, I really, really, really try to focus on making it something that is measurable and something that is time bound. Let's do an example. We'll stick to financial because it just seems like an easy one. So let's say my goal is, let's start from the top. I looked at my life and I said, financially, I'm rating myself a 1. And I'm rating myself a 1 because one of the factors is I'm not saving enough. So that means I need to save more. So the goal I'm going to set is I want to save $5,000 by December 2024. So that means it's something I can measure, $5,000, and it's time bound. I want to do it by the end of December 2024, right? So that gives me a target, and it also it gives me 2 targets, really, things to measure, and it gives me a target date. And so I now can really go in and break that down even further to see how much do I need to be saving each month? How much do I need to be saving each week, each day even? And where am I going to start saving? How am I going to start pulling money and putting it aside from my checks and things like that? And so you want to make them smart because it really does help you to kind of get your focus again with setting these goals, and it helps you to know exactly the things that you need to do in order to achieve that goal by the time that you say you're going to achieve it. Now, the reason that time bound is so important is because we don't just want to leave lofty goals. Like, we don't just want to leave them open-ended and say, we'll accomplish it whenever, because I forget the name of the rule. I'll put it up on the screen if I remember to do so. But there is a rule that says basically the time that we allot for a task to take is the amount of time that we will actually fill up that time in order to do the task. I hope that makes sense. So let's just say I don't set a goal for me saving money, right? I'm just lofty with it, whatever. But kind of in my heart of hearts, I'm like, oh, it's going to take me 5 years. Then guess what? Your brain says, oh, well, we have 5 years to do that. And so you don't actually go as hard for that goal in the time that you need to, because your brain you have told yourself, your brain has told you that you've got 5 years to do it. And so that's why procrastination comes in, right? Where at the end of maybe year 4 is when you really start to like pick up some speed and pick up some focus and some determination, because now you're like, oh my gosh, I've wasted 4 years. So that is why it's really important to put a time on these goals. And also, you want to make sure you believe it. I believe that you can do it. If you set your mind to something, you can do it, and your brain starts to help you. Your heart starts to help you. God starts to look at your life and say, okay, they're trying to steward this in this way. They're trying to do this with these resources that I've got them. I am going to help them to get to this point by the time that they say they want to get there, if it is in my will. And so I believe that you've got to put a time on it. And then measurable is really important too, because you don't want to just have lofty goals again that just don't have measurements, that are just like imagination. Like, you want to have things that you can actually measure in some way, shape, or form. And then when it comes to an attainable goal, that can be kind of subjective, right? Because some of us are like, well, I like to shoot for the moon. I like to go, shoot for the stars, which I believe everybody should do. But some of you are like, some of these goals I be setting are really not attainable, and especially not in the time period that I'm setting for them to be. But you still want to make it something that is within your reach. Now, I think that means though that you need to really set goals that push you outside of your comfort zone. And I believe that this is very important for those of you who want to use the improvement focused goal setting method, because if you do not have a vision for where you are headed yet, if you do not have a vision for your life, then you want to push yourself outside of your comfort zone and outside of what you're used to, because you need to become somebody different. And along that journey, as you're becoming somebody different, I believe that God will give you vision for where you are headed. And so then you'll be like, oh my gosh, like, since I'm working towards something, now I'm becoming this person who I believe I am supposed to be. And I believe God is really, really gracious. And even if you do not feel like you have a vision, he will like somehow allow you to set goals that actually point to the vision of the person that he has designed and called you to be. So anyway, you want to make sure the goals that you set are fitting that SMART criteria. And then lastly, you want to write your goals down. This is important. No matter what method you use, no matter when you set goals, you want to write your goals down, and you want to put them in a place where you are going to see them often, right? That's why vision boards are so important. That's why people who do their vision boards digitally, like as a phone background, is so important. It's why people who write things on their bathroom mirrors, it's so important, because what happens is you are continuing to train your mind and train your brain to say you are going to accomplish this. And your brain continues to try to figure out ways to do that, to help you to actually accomplish it. It gives you ideas, helps you to brainstorm, helps you to believe. It increases your faith that you will do these things. And so you want to keep it very front and center. You don't want to write down goals and then just store them away and never look at them until the next time you're going to like try to evaluate your life. No, we want to keep them front and center. And so I have become somebody, and in the past I've done this too, where yes, I will write them in my journal, right? In my journal, I close and put it away, but I will write my goals on sticky notes on my bathroom mirror. I'll make my vision boards. I'll make a vision board on the background to put on the background of my phone. I'll put it everywhere that I can, y'all. Like, it is so important. I will write down things where it's almost like I've already accomplished the goal, and I will literally like force myself to say it over and over and over. I have saved $5,000. I have saved $5,000. I have saved, like, I will say whatever it is that I need to say in order to like keep remembering my goals and to keep infusing this faith to say, I am going to accomplish this thing. So, okay, I've said a lot. Let's recap, because that's pretty much it for improvement focused goal setting. So first, you are going to break your life down into the different categories that you decide. I've chosen 6 that you are welcome to borrow and use for yourself. Second, you are going to rate yourself 1 to 5 or with whatever criteria you have in terms of how you are doing in that area of your life. Then you're going to look at the areas where you feel like you are not doing well or not doing as well as you want to be doing. And those are the areas where you're going to take some some time to reflect, to ask yourself what's hindering you from doing the things that you want to do, from actually being able to rate yourself higher in that area. Then you're going to set some goals that go completely against the things that are hindering you from being able to rate those areas higher. And then you're going to make sure they are in a smart way. You put them in a smart criteria, and then you're going to write them down and put them somewhere where you will see them often. And then you're going to get to work. It's time to go get it. It's time to go become the person you know you're called to be. It's time to go accomplish the things you know you're called to accomplish. And it's time to go believe bigger and better for yourself for the rest of the year. You've got things to do. There are so many goals and so many passions and so many dreams that I know God has called each and every one of us to accomplish and to see and to achieve. And He is backing us all the way. He's already gone before us, and He's with us, and He's giving us the strength and the power and the wisdom and the everything that we need in order to achieve the goals that He has put on our hearts to achieve. And so I just want to tell you right now, like, keep trusting, keep seeking, and keep going, y'all. Don't just set these goals and feel like there's no way that you're going to accomplish them. Don't set goals without intention. Like, set a goal that you actually feel like you can accomplish, because there is a God who is on your side. So I hope you got something out of this video. I hope you're interested in trying this goal setting method out, or if this one is just not your jam, then make sure you go back and watch the vision focused goal setting method, because maybe that one is more your speed. And again, I believe that you can use both of these methods at different points in your life, just depending on how you're doing mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally, because sometimes you just don't have time to try to dig into a vision. Sometimes it's just not where you are. And so you use the improvement focus. And then there's other times where you're like, you know what, I got some time. I want to dig deep. I want to, try to get to the root of some of these things in my life. And I want to try to set a vision that is very clear for me. And so you use the vision focused goal setting method. But whichever one you use, it does not matter. I just want you guys to set some goals, especially for the end of 2024. So again, I hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions or you're excited about trying this goal setting method out, drop it in the comments below. I just want to chit chat with you guys. I cannot wait. Make sure you share this video with anyone who you believe needs this goal setting method to be put in front of them so that they can use it for the rest of their 2024. And then of course, if you are excited and you've been getting something out of this mid-year reset series, then make sure you hit the thumbs up. Give me a like so that I know that you like this type of content. And then of course, I want you to subscribe if you haven't, and come on back to the next video so that we can continue to get our focus back, get our vision back, and get to the things that God has called us to get to. I'm so glad you are here. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.